Hey, Kurt, how you doing?
Hello, hello. Doing great.
Excellent.
Excellent. Fantastic. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm playing D&D on Fridays, so I'm fine.
That is a good way to start the weekend. I
How
like
are
it a
you?
lot. I'm fine. I'm kind of really impressed with your whole color situation. That is a beautiful background. It matches your t-shirt, which is beautifully floral, which kind of also matches your tattoos a little bit. Loving it,
I'm
mate.
a,
You
I'm a
you
colorful guy.
you've really thought about it. It means a lot, the effort that you've put in.
Oh, today is Friday, Jeff.
Yeah. There you go. So you should already be playing Dungeons and Dragons, mate. Is that a tabula editor hat?
It is a tabula editor hat.
I said it in like an accusing way. I didn't mean it to come across that way. It's more like it's a type of letter rather than like a pointed at you.
Yeah.
Look, you
Hiding all my hair under there.
I like the fact that you've also brought your fans with you as well. Look, Sergey is here to
Yeah. The
shout.
spelling needs to be improved there, Sergey.
So, do you want to quickly introduce yourself in any fashion that you choose to do so, and then we can take it from there?
uh,
How do you feel
I'm
about that?
a Yeah, I'm a level 3 data goblin human. Um, yeah, I run datagoblins.com. I'm a part of SQL BI.
Cool.
I write articles and do trainings and stuff like this. I also produce trainings and articles for Tabular Editor, the Tabular Editor blog. We have a series running about how to make semantic models, and I do a bunch of other stuff as well. So yeah, also the Power BI guidance documentation, so implementation planning and adoption roadmap.
It's quite a lot of stuff, mate. It's
That's some stuff.
it's quite
So
a
a lot
lot.
of stuff. Yeah.
And
Um,
I'm pleased you mentioned the SQL BI stuff because actually adding, improving, but adding to the already fantastic content of SQL BI, what you have really improved, I think, is the standard of comments in the comment section of the SQL BI videos. Um, because
Care to elaborate?
yeah, of course, I've come prepared with some screenshots. I very, very
Yeah.
do this. So I mean, the first one I'm going to make is just introducing yourself as Dax. Dax
Yeah.
Jesus has arrived, which
Yeah.
is
My dad sent that one in the family WhatsApp chat.
and that is of course where DJ comes from. So Kurt, Dax Jesus, DJ, and there's more on this Dax, another banger from SQL and Dax Jesus. This is of course your new nickname, but I have to
Excellent.
say my favorite thus far has been this one, which is Kurt and SQL BI is the greatest merger since the Traveling Wilburys. That's pretty good. That's high praise
I,
indeed, mate.
I don't even know what the Traveling Wilburys is. I'm afraid.
Are they like some like one of those like super groups where they put like five very popular singers together and musicians together, and they form this super group called the Traveling Wilburys? I think
Um,
um, Tom Petty and a few other people were in it. I can't remember, but I know of them. That was quite
okay,
a
okay.
strong cover. So it's high praise indeed, mate. High praise indeed, and just generally strong comments
Yeah,
from your
well,
contributions.
it's definitely been awesome to work with Marco and Alberto. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. So and learning a lot from them, and looking forward to keep producing a lot of cool stuff.
Of
So
course, man. You learning any Italian?
a little bit. Ciao, friends. You know that
That's
came out there. Yeah, there's
classic.
a whole video where I do like I butcher two sentences. So uh,
I enjoyed your
um,
intro to SQL BI. There was quite a lot of Italian going on there, I have to say. I'd just been
yeah,
reading
that
it
was
from
fun.
a script. It was pretty good.
Yeah. I practiced with Google Translate for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, like repeating those sentences over and over. And then when a friend of mine, an Italian friend of mine, saw that video, he got very upset that I didn't contact him to practice with him beforehand. He said, I couldn't even understand what you were saying.
I generally I'm against non-native Italian speakers learning Italian for the sole reason that it makes me feel even worse about the fact that I've been married to an Italian for so long and haven't learned any Italian. So I
Yeah,
like to.
you're Italian.
Oh, it's shocking. I can understand a lot, but I can't like speak anything other than swear words and just farm out animals because of the kids. So I
Yeah.
think the more other people learn Italian, the worse I just feel about myself. So I want to like hack these places like Duolingo and just like delete all their Italian courses off them, just to
The
impede their learning. But
best way, the best time to start is tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. There you go, mate. DaxJesus.com is available.
Perfect.
Just in case you curious. I'm curious about this comment. You're assuming that Kurt wears Birkenstock sandals also. Is this a
I
SQL BI thing, or I'm not sure what's going on there?
No, I think he's referring to like the Jesus image. I literally bought
Ah, okay.
Birkenstock sandals last week. So
There you go, man. My
yeah,
God, you fit
yeah.
in the role perfectly. Love it. Sorry, I'm gonna take some water. Just sit here with the awkward silence when I drink water.
No, it's all good. So I'm gonna ask you a question because you usually end your live streams asking what is the one feature you would add from Power BI.
Don't do
Do
that to
that
me.
now. Now, what's one feature?
I can tell you the one that's been annoying me most in recent weeks. I really wish. Actually, I'm pleased you asked me that. I've never been asked that before, and I'm pleased I had such a prepared answer. Not intentionally, just because it's been pissing me off. When someone requests access to something, yeah, be it whatever, like say the access request access to a report, yeah,
Right.
your options, unless I'm very wrong and I'm making a fool of myself here, which I do quite often, so it's all right. Your only options are accept or decline, right? And when you decline that, you can't write any text or anything. You just decline it, or you just accept it. And also, there's no information alongside the person's name, such as it has a name, but it doesn't have like their email address at all. It doesn't contain any information. So if I would want
Yeah.
to decline someone's access, I want to decline the access. But what if I want to give them access to something else at the same time? Like, okay, I've declined your access request, but
Yeah.
check out this link, which might be the app, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
access there. Why is it so? Why is there so little information? Why is there so little functionality? Like, also, I don't understand why there's no email address. I also would like, why doesn't it also show the person's department that they work in? That should
Yeah.
be integratable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So, because I guess you could do that with like Power Automated Teams or something like
yeah,
this. You shouldn't have to Fandangle something
hmm.
custom in order to just give people access to individual items.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That makes sense.
I think that's my go-to answer right now because that's what because I've been kind of working with like sorting out apps and stuff in the past few weeks. That when people request individual access to a report, I'm like, no, not report, but
Yeah,
app, and I
you
can't
could
do that.
redirect them to the app and just say like you already have access to it. So something
Exactly.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I throw the question back at you, mate, or was that too easy?
No, I can do that. So I there is something that I will say. I almost made a LinkedIn little posty post today.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah, little
was it
posty
going to be
post.
like I am thrilled to announce whatever it is. I am delighted to
No,
okay.
it was about the what is it like the all of these AI shibboleths, the groundbreaking Tableau versus Power BI. No, no, no. So earth shattering. The future is now. No, no. So one thing that I would really like is when I have a report, I have two
Mm,
reports, and
mm,
I have some nice visuals in report A, and I want to use those visuals in report B.
mhm,
So if I copy those visuals into report B, there is no way in the user interface for me to replace the fields and retain the formatting of the visuals. And so
mm,
that, like if I spend however long on formatting the new card visual,
mhm.
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I want to put that little cardy card in my visual library, my little collection of
Mm,
things that I can look at to make me feel better when I'm having a terrible Monday. And I want to go in that library and I want to use those again. So, and the user interface doesn't support that at the moment because if I copy those things into a new report,
mm,
it gives you the gray box of death because it can't find those fields,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
And then, you have to remove the fields and it removes the formatting. And there's nothing in the user interface that lets you swap the fields out.
So kind of like a library of predefined things that you can just like use across reports.
Not even.
Ah, okay.
So I can even I think I can even show you honestly.
Yeah, go on
So
to it, mate.
um, so if let me just pull something up here. So I had a report, and there's something I want to use in a new report. So hold on, I'm going to share my screen in a minute.
All good, man.
Yeah, so it's just the notion that I want to be able to swap out one field for another field. So, and if I can do that, that will enable like visual libraries effectively. So, because then you can just reuse your visuals, right? So,
Yeah, that'd be
okay.
cool. I'm with you on that one.
And
I'm
then
not
after
sure.
this, I want to talk about D&D.
Yeah, cool. Let's do it. We've done Power BI, and that's we can say we've touched that. I'm not sure if Fernando's asking. I think you where you're located. I'm not sure if it's you he's asking about.
Where am I located? Earth.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Strong. Can't
Yeah,
argue with it. And also,
Belgium.
respect your data privacy as well. So
Yeah, I'm in Belgium, so in Belgium. That's where I'm currently located. I'm
nice.
going to share my screen. Let me know if you should be able to see my screen.
I can.
All right. So I have a visual. So I have a visual here. So or maybe this one of those
Mm,
two that has like some new card stuff going on, and I want to reuse that in another report.
mm,
So if I take, for example, that card and I just copy the visual container, and then I go in my nice Dungeons and Dragons report
mm,
with all of my D&D data.
mm,
Of course, I get this gray box of death because it can't find the fields that are from the original one, right?
mm,
So, and what I want, the feature I want, if I can complain, is instead of these options, like in addition to these options, it would be amazing time wise and efficiency wise if I just had a replace
mm,
option or something, and I could select, a different field to swap out and swap in place, and then
mm,
all the formatting is retained. Of course, you still
mm.
have the problem that you're
Yeah,
using
that would
you're
be
using
cool.
a bunch of fields that are hidden, and I can't even. So this is the thing, right? I
Yeah,
can't
it's
even
frustrating.
see
Yeah.
those. So I mean, there is a way to do this. Like if you go into the report metadata and you start messing around with the report metadata,
Yeah.
but that's not something that's currently supported. So if you could do that, then you could maintain like a library of visuals that you could just apply to a new report. You swap in the fields you need, and then you're good to go. You don't have to make them from scratch every time.
That is a strong answer. I like it, and I concur. I would also approve this change.
Yeah, I see Ricardo says check my answers to Dax.do quiz number 2 so you can send me my data governance bug. You were perfectly correct. You were perfectly correct. I am like 8 months overdue on that or more. I will do that. I think I did check it and it was correct, and then I just forgot.
He saw you going to be on today, and he was like, "I'm going to watch that live stream just so I can remind him to send him my damn mug." I like
Yeah,
it.
send me the mug. I'm making some new ones so that are pretty funny if I'm allowed to say so.
Yeah,
So
you can say pretty much whatever you want, mate. And you can always feel free to plug your shop. I actually felt bad because I said for ages I was going to buy a pair of those stretchy pants off your store and wear them for my first ever in-person talk, and I forgot to do it because I'm a forgetful person. But that would have been pretty cool.
yeah, I need to put out some more leggings. I need to like just have a whole separate shop that's just called Fashion Crimes, like Data Goblin Fashion Crimes, and then it's just like just to see what I can get away with before someone tries to stop me. I think I can manage.
I think
So
it would be nice just to start seeing slowly at conferences people start wearing fashion crime data goblin merchandise to see how much you can actually make or what sort of random stuff you can make people wear. That would
yeah,
be pretty good. I like this.
yeah. There was someone in Belgium actually who I saw one time wearing one of the shirts from like my shop at a, I don't remember what the
No
context
way.
was. It was like a seminar, so it wasn't like a conference or something like
Hmm.
this. It was like a closed seminar. So, and I didn't get the chance to talk to him, but that was pretty cool.
That
So
is very cool.
yeah, so I wanted to say sorry that it was so bad.
When I was in Norway with and I did the live stream from Fabric February with Mike Carlo, I was really trying to get T-shirts printed that just say "I love the D" for like Deneb stuff as well.
Yeah, the Deneb logo.
Yeah, the Deneb logo. Mike was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, I'm not sure, but I still want to do it."
I'm not sure about like any of the ideas I have. Like I have this phase throughout the day where in the morning I wake up and you have morning brain, and
Mm.
then you go through your morning routine. And I usually try to start the morning with like, coffee and run, very short run. And then during that run, I always get all these ideas. And that's like morning Kurt. Morning Kurt comes up with like all these ideas
Mm.
and plans and stuff like this. And evening Kurt is just like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
why would you do those things?
yeah.
So
Yeah, like different
but
versions of yourself. So like the productive version who has the ideas, and then the evening person who just like knocks down all those ideas. Yeah, I get that.
coffee and rum. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
short rum. Just a short rum. So, but it's very wide, so it's it's like
It's like a
200 milliliters.
nice trough of rum. Grand.
Yeah. So
I was thinking something similar the other day. I was like, I think it's really important that when you're in your 20s, you do like really like crazy, like messed up stuff. Because if you don't do that, what are you going to think about when you're in your 40s, lying in bed at night, wishing you hadn't done? Like sometimes I'll be lying in bed and just kind of like think it's some like really embarrassing thing that I did in my 20s, and I
oh
was
yeah.
like, you just really like wish I
Oh
had
yeah.
done something differently. Like, and I was thinking if I hadn't done that stuff in my 20s, what would I be lying in bed thinking about now? It would be so much more boring, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely have like these moments of like embarrassing stuff, where I'm just like it makes me it gives me shivers. Like I'm like working on something like a data model or a diagram or a
Mm.
visual or something, and all of a sudden this intrusive memory just bursts into my brain
Yeah.
and gives me full body like seizing
Yeah.
because of how embarrassing that memory is.
Oh, class. I want to
I
bring it.
I I want to share one of those because one of them just
Please.
popped into my mind. So during COVID, I was working for a client, and it was a really good project. Like we had a really good connection in a lot of the meetings and stuff like this. We had quite a few evening meetings because of the time differences with time zones, and there was one meeting that was very important. It was kind of like a discussion with a lot of key people.
Hmm.
And I had just finished presenting something, and you know that feeling after you finish presenting where you're just like really relaxed and you're just
Hmm.
like, ugh.
Yeah.
And so I turned off my camera, and I thought I turned off my microphone. I didn't say anything bad, I'm going to preface. So, but I leaned back and I was like relaxing, and I was like, and all of a sudden I felt this sneeze coming on, but I was like, oh, it's no worries. And someone was talking, like someone very important was
Yeah.
talking at that moment, and I just unleashed this like super loud sneeze. The worst part, afterwards, I was
Yeah.
like, "Holy crap, that was a big one." And it was like it just got very quiet in the meeting, and then this guy just said, "Yeah, Kurt, you're not muted," and I was like, "Oh, I am very sorry." So, but then we all had a good laugh about it. So, which
That
is yeah.
is that is very good.
That same guy, we had a meeting like a later, like I think it was 2 months later or something. We had a one-on-one where we were also talking about something quite serious.
Hmm.
And at that moment, I had two desks. I had my work desk, and
Hmm.
then immediately behind me, I had my like home desk, so
Hmm.
I could work and then video games. And like that was
That's
that was the plan. That was the COVID plan.
that's awesome.
And then it was awesome, and like not the healthiest.
Hmm.
So but the cats would often go there while I
Hmm.
was in meetings, and they would just like hang out there, which was really great if someone's upset at you, because they can't be there's like a limit to how upset they can get when there's a cat in the frame.
Fair. Good point. Yeah.
But we were having this one-on-one about quite serious topic, and I just saw in the camera one of my cats starting to do this weird move, and she just started full-on hairball, like in the middle of the call, like, and I just like turned around, I just said, I'm gonna have to like go, and just left, dealt with cat, and then came back.
Love it.
Good times.
I think this is one of the best things about home office, is like the random embarrassing things that happen because of cameras being switched on, or people not being on mute, all that kind of stuff. This is like, I really enjoy that, to be honest.
Eh, eh.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they can be good. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I kind of wish everybody was in the office for that one, face to face. So, but
Yeah, I
I don't
think.
know. Sorry, I feel like I've been at working from home for so long that it's like part of my brain
Mm,
just died.
mm.
I just don't
Fair.
know where that part of the game my brain is anymore. So
Yeah, I think it. I naturally just reject the idea of ever going back to the office, but I think one of the parts of it is I just wouldn't know how to do it anymore. It would be so. I would be terrible at it.
I just really miss when you're doing like a hands-on project with a client. What I really miss is just going to the boots on the ground people and just like hashing it out
Mm,
about something, like some report they use or whatever, and just breaking down a barrier and just having a conversation and turning like the some sales report that like maybe you made and they kind of complain about because they can't export it to Excel in the right way or something like this, and you turn it into like Philip's report because
mm,
Philip has some ideas that he wants to put in the
mm,
report, and then you
mm.
have this nice little impromptu conversation, and out of that comes some ideas because of the unique mix of just being able to engage physically and having the body language and just
Fair.
talking while you go for a walk to getting
Yeah,
cheap crappy sandwich from the grocery store. A very specific memory.
yeah. I got that impression you were talking about not a general thing there. Yeah, fair enough. I get that.
Yeah, it's like late.
Do you mind if I bring up a question from Donald, because it's been sitting there for ages, and it's a sort
Oh
of
yeah.
question that always grabbed my attention. I know what my answer is. What do you think of Copilot for DAX report generation?
Oh.
I I I
So
I have my
I
opinions there.
I don't have any strong opinions like right now. To be honest, I'm reserving my thoughts for when things are able to be scrutinized more. So
Mm,
I think it's nice to be able to have a sparring partner for code exercises. I don't particularly enjoy it for writing exercises. I'm quite troubled with the way that LLMs have been intruding into the creative space. But in terms of programming and coding languages, it's nice to have like this wall that you can bounce a tennis ball off of. I can see that value
mm,
very, very much. Um, of course, there's always like better people, much better people than me have made these articulate arguments about learning the wrong things and so on. So for report generation, yeah, I mean, I think like I've seen enough reports that show me the count of month by year. So I
yeah.
think that's all I'll say. But of course, there's merits to be had, and eventually, I can anticipate that there are certain aspects or elements of the development pipeline that can be certainly made, more efficient by LLMs. So, but at the moment, I don't have any. It's just those are just my thoughts, unfiltered.
That's
So,
just this
but
this
I'm
that's.
looking forward to seeing it evolve. So,
I mean, for me, like I think yes, I think at some point it will be helpful. I can't speak too much to the DAX generation part of it, but certainly let's stick to the report generation. You get all the time this feeling. This is not just Copilot, it's everything that's AI related. It's about rushing out as fast as possible. So you can be like, look, we're doing it too. Like look, you can generate reports with Copilot, which is a really cool thing to say. And for me, generating a report with Copilot, from what I've seen, the only benefit of it is that it will quickly create you 5 visuals that you can completely change yourself what's in them. It'll just basically create 5 visuals or whatever they are, and you can then use those and completely change them. But I see no merit in report generation at this point. But I'm just generally sick of things AI being added to random stuff that I've never really thought it needed, and when you
I'm
look at it, it
just
offers very little help.
I'm just tired of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like that's just it. So I'm just tired of being sold things that are not legitimate. So, but
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to seeing more. There's this expression in Dutch like "gebakken like
Mm.
baked beer. I'm just looking forward to seeing more tangible value for a lot of these things. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's obviously there's huge advancements being made all
Mm.
over the place, um, but
I
yeah.
think it would be easier to stomach for me if there wasn't always so much hyperbole attached to it. Like not everything has to be like game changing or this will change the face of this. If you just said this is good, this will be helpful, I would like much more enjoy it. I would be more likely to read or trying to use that product if like literally everything wasn't described as groundbreaking and it's going to change the game. It's like not everything is going to change the game, man. It's just going to be a bit helpful, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nuance is dead. I don't want to like get into like, this spiral of talking about AI, like particularly because I'm not an AI expert, so I don't think my opinions merit very much. But it's just there's a lot of concerns, and it's very unsettling in a lot of ways. So it's yeah.
Maybe it's a good time then to segue completely and just talk about D&D, because you want to do that anyway.
Sure.
Should we
I
do
also see Fernando asked a question.
I missed that. Sorry, man. Where's it gone? Oh, your background.
Yeah. My background is in biomedical sciences, actually. So I have a PhD in biomedical sciences, and then I started working with Tableau at the end of my PhD to make figures for our research. And then I got introduced to Power BI in one of the projects I started, because I started working as a consultant, a data visualization consultant working with Tableau. And then after that, I started, working more with Power BI, and I just liked it a lot. So I just kept doing it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Chewie's impressed.
Yeah. So hello.
Oh,
so yeah, but I used to work with genetics. So it's quite funny because like when I was doing my PhD, and working in research, I didn't know anything about these BI concepts. I didn't know what Power BI was. I didn't know what SQL was, if I'm perfectly honest. Like I'd never heard of it. Like when I was in the middle of my PhD, there were so many things like when I first started working in BI, when I was working as that Tableau consultant, there were so many terms that were flooding toward me that it just felt like it was a foreign language. But that's also something that I like to remember, and I like to tell people because it's been like a very rewarding career pivot. And I try to get other people who are working in that biomedical sector or who are working in research to come and work in BI, because there's so many strange parallels between academic research and business intelligence, and it's really interesting to see how close those things are without really crossing over so frequently. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice when I think that's one of the benefits of having like a non-standard entry to kind of make things seem like more accessible and all that kind of stuff. I talk about that a lot when I do like DNED presentations and saying like I have really no other coding background. It's nice. I think it's helpful to learn sometimes from someone who isn't very good at everything in that regard. Like look, just copy and paste loads of times. It'll get you where you need to go.
I think that's like the beauty of tools like Tableau and Qlik and Power BI, is that it's accessible to people who don't come from a computer science or coding background. And obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just the fact that you can have people coming from different diverse backgrounds. Like, you just said you're also not from a computational background. And I would say 60 to 70% or more of the professionals who I know and engage with in my network, with Power BI and Fabric and so on, do not come from a computer science background or like a hardline BI background. They come from backgrounds in completely different things, and they either accidentally or intentionally fell into this alternate career path, and they apply their knowledge that are from those other areas to the work that they're doing in BI, and they bring fresh perspectives to old problems. And I think that's super cool. I hope we see more of that. So, yeah.
I suspect we will. I think it's because everything's becoming more and more more accessible. I can imagine that it will happen. 1 second. What's Jeff saying?
Carl Linnaeus. Yeah.
No, this is a great. He went from writing a report to it, and I'll probably a friend of so.
Yeah, he went to the back end. He went from making the reports to
Hmm.
uh, building and putting up the pillars so that we can make better reports. Indeed. So
Indeed.
um,
Legend.
yeah,
I'm leaving it up to you, by the way, when he starts talking about D&D,
I
because
want to.
I know you want to. I don't want to force you into it, though. You know.
We're doing it now. Have you ever played D&D or a tabletop role playing game?
Not for a long time. I remember my strongest memory of D&D is we tried we tried to set up a D&D club when I was in middle school. So I was pretty young. I was probably like I was in middle school, like 11 or something. And we just ended up getting in trouble because they thought we weren't doing anything. Because we had like if you had a club that took place during like the lunch hours at school, you went to the front of the line, you could get your food first, you could go to your club. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we tried to set up a D&D club, and because of that we could go and get our lunch first. But at the end they stopped us from doing it because they didn't believe we're actually doing anything, because it wasn't like this thing where we're producing like loads of stuff. We're often just like sitting in a room like doing the role playing.
Yeah.
So that was my first memory of it, and then I think I played once or twice in my 20s, but since then, like, no, I have not. And because, sorry, just to finish a long answer, I know, because of there's moments like this, I feel like I never reached my true nerdy potential, because I was like more like a solo nerd around people who were less nerdy. You know what I mean? So I had less chance to get involved in those things. I played Risk a lot, but that doesn't count, I suppose.
I think we should start playing a game of D&D. We should just like start playing like a recurring game of D&D and just like stream it or something.
Stream, that'd be quite cool. I'm sure quite a few people would enjoy that as well. Taking part as well, of course, not watching.
It's the most fun thing I've ever done for sure. So
And you play every Friday?
yeah, and we play every Friday.
That's awesome.
My wife plays with us as well.
Cool.
Yeah, she's very good.
I like that.
So we've been playing for over 10 years, I think. So, it's a bit funny because we don't actually play D&D anymore. We're in the process of creating our own system from scratch.
Wow.
But it's an evolution, like it's a branch off of D&D, because although none of us have the time to invest in something like this. But every week, we're making some small changes and so on, and trying to work incrementally, iteratively, to come up with something that's fun and original. So, and the world also is something that I've made completely from scratch. So
And when you make the world, you have to come up with the entire concept of what it looks like, everything that's there. Everything is something that you come up with. That's what I find really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're basically creating everything.
yeah, you're creating, you create everything from scratch. So, I mean, it's all just, you create the setting and you describe the situation, you describe what's there, and then like the storyteller, the dungeon master or whatever, and then the players just decide what they want to do. And if it's some kind of, task or skill or something, then they have to roll the dice to see if they're successful.
Yeah.
And then the DM will narrate the result. So,
Love
and that's the whole process. We can play for 15 minutes if you want, or like 20 minutes. So, but some people are continuing to talk about Power BI, but I don't know. I don't really feel like it.
They're not leaving it alone, right? It's like, no. I guess
We could,
there is some tie-in, because you do data related stuff to D&D, right? You like
yeah.
have data sets or
So
whatever it was.
I manage my D&D campaign like completely through Power BI. I just use Obsidian now for the notes and the organization and stuff like this. But I maintain like now 8 reports or something that like the players use for different things, and I maintain a small database that's growing of various things. The only problem is that all of that is, as you said, like you come up with it yourself. So you're also kind of creating the data. We explored using various AI tools to be able to extract that information automatically from recorded sessions. But it had a lot of difficulties with the pronouns and with the the made up words for monsters
Mm.
and the names and stuff like this. And so it ended up being not very useful. So and not worth further investing. But it was interesting to investigate. Like we investigated it for 3 or 4 months or something. So so the tooling is not quite there yet to be able to automate that. But I'm serious though. We can play like 20 minutes of D&D.
Sure, do it. Let's do it. I like that. He's in as well. There's some intro. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just how would we play D&D on a live stream? You got to tell me.
All
But
right.
just so you know, as soon as we start doing that, you're then leading the show because I've got no idea what's going on. Right?
That's fine.
Yeah.
I sent you on a private chat on WhatsApp. I sent you a link to something called Roll20, and you have to join it so that you can roll the dice. But I can also roll the dice for you.
All right.
So,
This is
and
happening. This is happening, people.
this is happening.
Accept game invite. I will accept the game invite.
I'm a skeptical Christian because like I did an exercise 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago, last week. I did an exercise last week testing it out, and there were still a lot of issues. But yeah, but I do think, however, it will get there. So eventually, and I also think that if I would have invested in it appropriately, and if my expertise in that area was higher, I probably could have made it work. But the level of investment that I have to do is a bit high to be able to get that. But it would be a dream. So and so Burnett asked a question like, are there BI situations? Yes. We will see. So I'm going to share my screen now.
I had to create an account, by the way. I've just done it.
Yeah, that's
Get
great.
started. English, yeah. Okay, whatever. Here we go.
All right.
I've clicked on the link. All right, I got to share your screen, right?
Yeah. So this is I don't usually play online. So this is Ben.
It's brilliant. We will take the chat away. So can I remove the chat overlay? It's easy to see. Is that better? Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Like here, we'll need the chat because this is where you roll dice. So you roll 1d20, for example, and then it gives you a result. So that's why you're in here. So I'll move everything and I'll describe what's going on. And I also we're going to keep it very simple in terms of, character sheets and stuff like this. We're not going to use a character sheet. We're just going to use, flat rolls +2. We'll just say that you're pretty good at everything. So, and
Appreciate
then,
that.
Later on, if this is fun, if this is interesting for you, then I can show you the real deal. But if we make a character sheet, it will already be like 15 minutes down.
Fair enough.
Okay, so
I appreciate that you've made the world in advance, by the way.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, this week I'm feeling particularly unhinged this week, so I prepared that this might happen.
Nice.
So this is you. So
yeah.
you are, as you noticed, you have red skin. You are a tiefling, which is a half devil. So the current situation. So I'll describe to you things as we're going, but basically I'm just going to Kurt is gone. Kurt is not here anymore. Right. There's only me, the storyteller, who you can think is kind of like an omniscient narrator. And then I'll also describe certain things about rules, but I'll just tell you what to do when.
Okay.
And I'll also be voicing the other characters. But at no point is Kurt telling you what to do. This is just you interacting with the other characters and them expressing themselves in their way. Any accents that resemble any real individuals or groups are completely fictional. This is a fantasy world.
I like the disclaimer.
Yeah. So, all right. So to set the scene,
right.
So this is a small room. So it has these like green walls that look like they're a bit worn and aged. The paint is starting to chip. You kind of come in here as you're kind of like looking around and taking it all in. It has this smell of beer, that people, this is clearly like a place where light does not like to be. And as you see that there's this dwarf here, short dwarf, who is just kind of like cleaning the bar and like cleaning some glasses, kind of like whistling to himself. There's no other sounds with the exception of like some sort of quiet discussions happening elsewhere. There's other people as well in the tavern. As you kind of look over the half wall, as you see that there's a goblin kind of like looks like he's maybe crying into his beer. You're not sure. So there's a billiards table over here, and there are some few other tables. It's a very small tavern or pub. So there's a woman enjoying her drink to herself. She's writing or working on something. And there's a dwarf woman who's also like having a kind of hushed conversation with another man. None of them are particularly paying you any attention. You realize, however, as you take in the scene, that you don't really realize how you got here. And you don't really realize where you are as you kind of like look down at your red hands and the equipment that's strapped along your side and the dagger and the bow and all this other stuff. You realize that you don't even really remember who you are. Like, you remember your name, Ben, but you don't really know much else. As the dwarf just kind of like eyeing you from across the bar, he just kind of like grumbles at you across the room. He just says, "Are you gonna just stand there, or are you gonna order something? You're blocking the door for all my other customers."
And now I get to decide what I want to do.
Yeah, what do? You can answer back, you can ignore him, you can do whatever you want, and then you tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you what happens.
I want to walk to the bar, and I want to order
Okay.
a drink. I want to order a whiskey.
So you come up as you ask him. So how do you ask him for the whiskey? You can just say it like you're talking to him.
I'd say, give me a whiskey.
As he just says, is he just like kind of like turns at you? As he like kind of raises an eyebrow as he like gestures broadly at the 18 bottles of whiskey as on the wall? As he just says, "Is there any particular whiskey that takes your fancy?"
What's my usual?
Your usual.
Yeah.
I have no idea who you are.
Ah, damn it. I had an idea.
As he kind of like looks you up and down as he just says, "But you look like you like the cheap stuff, so just give me a second." So so as I'm just looking up some names of whiskey, okay, as he's pouring you this drink, as you're kind of looking around, you see the other people kind of like turning and looking at you as watching you as you're just kind of like shuffling there. As he just says like, "All right, that'll be that is." He finishes pouring the drink as he says, you see that the bottle says like formula whiskey. As he just puts it down, as he just says like, "All right, that'll be 2 silver pieces."
Do I have silver pieces? Do I have this information?
You pat down your pockets,
Yeah,
kind of like looking for things. As he just says like, he says, "Do you need some help there?"
Let's see. No, don't touch me. Here is 3. Keep the change.
As you reach into your pockets as he's waiting, as you feel nothing but just dirt. As you see a man sees you kind of like struggling as he comes over, as he just kind of like throws some of the coins on the counter for you. As he looks at you, as he says kind of idly, as he says, "These are dark times." He says, he says we should be looking out for each other. As he just kind of like walks back to the table. So
Cool.
as the guy scoops up the coins, as he looks up back at you, as he just says, "Dark times indeed." As he says, "Are you here to deal with the problem?"
I want to say yes, I am. Tell me more about it.
As he just says, like, as he kind of nods over at the goblin in the side, as he just says, "Well, he knows the most about it, but things have been rough ever since they disabled export to Excel. The elves have hired some orcs to make things a bit rough around here." As he says, "It looks like they're not going to stop until we re-enable exporting." As he just says, "We're all caught in the middle." As
I want to thank him for his time, and I want to go over and talk to the goblin. I want to sit down next to the goblin, and I want to put my knife on the table.
as you like dramatically make your way over, as these people like they're watching you make your way over, and they kind of silently get up and leave the tavern after they see you kind of like
I feel I made a terrible mistake.
meandering over. as you sit down, as you like dramatically like kind of take your dagger and
Stick it
slam
down.
it down on the table, as you see the goblin just kind of like crying into this mug of, at first you thought it was beer, but you realize it's apple juice, as he's just kind of like sitting there, as he kind of like startled as you slam your dagger on the table, as he looks up at you, as he just says, "What do you want?"
I want to say, tell me more about the orcs.
As he just
In a nicer way, though. Not with that harsh tone of voice. Let's just say, tell me more about these orcs, friend. Like that, you know what
as
I mean?
he just like looks at you, as he just says, "What?" As just almost as if on cue, there are these two orcs who just like stumble into the bar.
Oh, no.
They're looking like they've already had some drinks, as they're just kind of like laughing and like pushing each other around, as you see the dwarf bartender just giving this like huge sigh as his chest rises and falls, as you just see the goblin kind of like looking up, as he kind of like quivers a little bit afraid, as he just says like, "They have no governance at all. They just do whatever they want. It's terrifying."
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. That's what I'm saying to him directly.
As he turns, as he just says like, "What are you going to do about them?"
So I want to, okay, I want to walk up to one of the goblins. I want to,
One of the orcs.
I'm sorry, one of the orcs. Thank you. And I want to challenge him to a game of billiard.
as you see, like you go to get up, as the goblin reaches over and grabs your wrist, as he just says like, "Do you know what you're doing?"
Yes.
As he
I'm
just
crazy.
says like, as he like just looks at you in the eyes, as he just says, "We're all gonna die."
Well, I
As
don't.
you get up, as you start crossing the room, as you're, how do you approach them to go challenge them to this game of billiards?
I woke up like friendly, like not too aggressive, like open body language, like a little bit like, you know, not like I'm their friend, but you know, just in a nice casual way, you know.
As
Nothing. I put my
you
knife
see
away at
like,
this point, by the way. My knife is away again, just so you know.
that's probably good. It's not good to approach. It's not good to approach people at the bar, particularly drunk people, when you're holding a knife. So, as the two orcs, like the one of the guys seems to be like having this whispered conversation with the dwarf, who looks quite concerned, as the other one's like leaning on the bar, as you see him kind of like blinking, unable to blink with both eyes at the same time, as he kind of like looks at you, as he just says, "What do you want?"
I'll say to him, I challenge you to a game of billiards, sir.
"I don't want to play Bill."
Oh, man, I'm sad now.
As he just turns, as he kind of like looks at you, as he seems to like, his eyes kind of like shift as he looks back, as he notices the billiards table behind you, as he points, as he just says, "Oh, that." He says, "We play?"
We play.
As he turns, as he just says, "Good." As he takes, you see him take his short sword, as he like stabs it into the bar, as he just says, "To the death."
And then I take my dagger or knife, I think it's a dagger, and I slam it into the bar also, and I say, to the death, like that, in a really dramatic way.
As you hear the goblin like in the corner, just kind of like eeping very quietly, as he's obviously very scared.
Yeah.
As he flees to the bathroom, as you see him disappear, as you see the clearly like the boss orc or something like this, like a bit skeptical, as he looks over at you, as the dwarf also like rolls his eyes, as he just says, "Well, it was nice knowing you," as you start to make your way to the billiards table.
Yeah.
Or do you do anything else?
So when I'm assuming, because generally my skill set was just generally good, and he's an orc, I'm assuming he's not very good at pool. This or billiard, I should say. This is what I'm banking on here. Right?
Make a insight check. So, which means basically just type, because everything is just generally good, we're keeping it simple. You just type /roll 1d20 and then put +2. And then
Say what?
just type in the chat /roll 1d20 +2. As you're looking at this orc, as trying to assess where he's at, as you notice he's wearing this shirt of some kind that says "data driven," but driven is spelled wrong. And you can tell he made it himself, and he's very proud of it. So he doesn't seem very intelligent. However, you can just see the way that he's walking over to the table, and the moment that he picks up that billiard stick and he starts like, setting up, that in his drunken confidence and how easily he's moving around the table, you think that you might be in some trouble here.
I might have made a terrible mistake, basically.
You might have made a terrible mistake, but you never know. Lady Luck might be on your side.
It might be. Do I have to type in anything for the dice again at this point?
Well, he's setting up the game as he like doesn't seem to be paying much attention to you. So you can try to, for example, use the moment to get a jump on him and like attack him.
Yeah.
You could run away. You could try to sabotage the game. You notice that the woman over here seems to be taking the opportunity as just passively. You kind of notice this as you're evaluating him, as she's reaching into his pockets and kind of stealing something. You could maybe call that out and try to befriend him and just see how deep that rabbit hole goes. You can do anything you want.
I think I've decided what I want to do is I want to pick up the white ball and offer like he's allowed to break. But as he reaches for it and take it out of my hand, I just like pelt it at his head just to see what happens.
Okay, can you repeat that? Sorry, you cut out at one point.
Oh, sorry. So I want to take out the white ball as in offering him that he can break. Yeah. But as he reaches for the ball, I just want to pelt the ball at his head to distract him whilst this person.
So you're going to attack him
with the ball. Yeah, exactly.
All right, go ahead. So what you can do now is you type /roll 2d20 kh1, and then that means I type it in the chat so you can just copy it, and then that just means that you keep the highest dice, and then we can add a plus. Ooh,
that's so low. That's
not so great.
Come on, man. That's
so you go over as you tell him he can break, as he just like, you take that cue ball as you go to like smack him with it, going to like throw him, as you just like, it goes completely over his head.
I miss him completely.
And through the window. Yeah. And as he just like, he barely seems to notice as he hears the shattering glass, as he turns around, as he just says like, "Oh, we're playing with orc rules then." You see him just like grab one of the balls and also throw it out the window. And as he's going to try to roll it for himself. And he's keep lowest. And he's pretty strong, but he's keeping the lowest. And he misses entirely as he accidentally hits this unfortunate woman right in the head with the ball. As she like angrily kind of like stumbles around, and she kind of like looks at him as you see her holding some kind of like weapon at her side. But you hear this orc over here starting to approach, as you see her take a second guess, as she seems to gesture something toward you, and then she tries to slip away. Do you do anything with that, or do you just kind of ignore it? Do you try to understand what she's signaling?
I want to try to understand what she's signaling for sure. I want to see what's going on there. You have my attention here.
Make a /roll 1d20 and then another +2.
Oh no. So 1 second. /roll 1d20 +2.
+2. All right. So as you have no idea, you just think she might have flipped you off. You're not sure. So as she just very quickly, like remarkably quickly, starts to exit out of the tavern, as you see this orc starting to approach you, as things are looking a little bit hairy.
Okay.
And we're almost out of time, so we'll stop here for now. But this is basically kind of how D&D goes. Like you yourself are in a situation, and normally you're playing with other people. So you're like kind of discussing with other people and reacting to other people. It's very rare that you play like one-on-one like this.
But this is can I do one more thing? I don't want to interrupt. Can I do one more thing quickly?
Sure.
Can I run over to the bar where I put down my knife, pick up my knife, and just like pelt it at them, and then run away, see what happens?
Okay. Well, first do a check to see if you can do that quick enough. So just a general, like another 1d20 +2.
+2, yeah.
Yeah.
Roll, right? Roll 1d20 +2.
Yeah.
Ah. $22.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
natural 20. Natural 20. As they see that woman, that unnamed woman leaving, as like this orc, you see him like kind of muttering, like, I think she just flipped that guy off. As you just take that moment as you move the fastest you've ever moved in your short little, multiple minute memory. As you rush over, you grab your knife and you just whip it over your shoulder toward them, and you're surprising them, so you can make an attack at advantage again. So that's /roll 2d20, keep highest one, and then you can add. It should be plus 4 because you're adding your dexterity as well. So you just copy what I wrote and make the +2 a +4 because I made a mistake the first time. Oh, you have to type /roll instead of rolling. Yeah. All right. So as who are you throwing the dagger at? This guy or this guy?
And the guy I was playing pool with, just to really piss him off.
All right. So you can roll damage. So you hit him. So to roll damage, so you're throwing a dagger. However, when you throw this dagger, something strange kind of activates as you feel it leaving your hand. As you feel this power as you notice the hilt of the dagger has this D emblem. And you're not sure, but for some reason the word Deneb just comes into your mind as it just like it unleashes this supersonic blast as you start sending this dagger like blasting through the room as it just like echoes as it leaves this. And you roll the damage. So it's 1d4 +2 plus 4d6, and normally that should work. So you can basically copy what I wrote, but then replace it with roll. /roll. Yeah. Awesome. So that's a pretty bad damage roll. but you do 14 points of damage to him as you just like smoke him as he like collapses on the ground, like as this dagger, like it not only like embeds into him as you hit him with it, but it also definitely crushes a few ribs as you turn, realizing like this guy's definitely not down for the count, as his friend looks toward you angrily. And at this point you turn and run.
Yeah, definitely do that.
All right, as you turn and run.
I'm gone.
And we'll stop here.
That was actually really good fun.
Yeah. And that's just me, like literally like 5 minutes before, I just thought like, oh, that could be silly. And then I just thought like, but normally for each game, the DM spends like hours preparing something more sophisticated. And then you're playing with a group and you're feeding off of each other and everybody. It's a game where you're not playing online. Usually you're playing at a table, so you're able to engage with each other physically, and it's super fun. It's hilarious. So,
and see, this is just going back to what I've said at the very start about this role-playing game. Is that this is why we got in trouble, because I thought we wouldn't do anything, because we were just like literally sitting there talking and describing scenarios, and they're like, "You're not doing anything." It's like, we're playing a game. It's like, no, you're not. And then they cancelled our club. It lasted all of a month. Yeah.
D&D is awesome. So the next conference we can just like have a session where we just play D&D. So
that I was going to ask about. That must be like that would be popular, right? I mean, I'm sure if you go to like a data conference, Power BI conference, and you say we're going to have a D&D session, I'm pretty sure there'd be plenty of people who would be into that.
So I did run actually a pre-con once several years ago that was just a D&D session, and it was training people how to run workshops actually, and it was just a D&D game, basically, but they were engaging with the users, the business users, instead of, with NPCs and stuff like this. And the objective was that they had to, engage with the users and understand them. So it was just role-playing in the sense of, me and another friend of mine were role-playing the users, the different personas, and they had to talk to them and figure out, what kind of business questions did they have and what kind of problems did they have and stuff like this. And it was a lot of fun. So, but the problem is though, that if you get a bunch of strangers together to play, then it's not the same as if you play with your friends.
I can understand that. It makes sense. Well, if I get my session selected for what's that thing about Data Minds Connect, then we can. That's in Belgium, right? Data Minds Connect.
It is. That's where I
Yes.
did that pre-con a couple of years
Ah, there you
ago.
go. That makes sense. That would be cool. Thank you for introducing me to back to D&D for the first time in many, many years. I enjoyed it
No problem.
immensely.
And torturing the people who are watching. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure they enjoyed it. Maybe not as much as me because I was playing, but that was very cool. I enjoyed it. Brussels,
uh,
right?
no, Data Minds Connect is in Mechelen. So yeah.
Nice.
So, but it's every October. It's a very good data conference. So, and it's definitely something that I can recommend. So,
Cool. Nice. Mate, I'll say thank you very much for bailing me out, by the way, also. I forgot to mention that part at the beginning because I'm terrible at, well, I'm normally pretty good at it, but I've completely messed up my schedule this week.
oh, no
So
worries.
you
So,
stepped in and offered some D&D and just general Power BI wisdom. It's much appreciated.
no worries. No worries.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone in the chat who, put up with me just playing D&D for 20 solid minutes, but also asked some very wonderful questions and kept it interesting, as fun as ever. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kurt. It has been a pleasure. The second time you were on, of course.
It's all good. It's all good. Hope
Um,
everybody has a wonderful evening and weekend.
I'm sure they all will. Have fun, everyone. Have exactly as Kurt said, a nice weekend. And yeah, hopefully it's nice weather where you are. You can enjoy a bit of the sunshine. Get out and about, get some fresh air. It's my son's birthday, so we're going to go to Tia Park and walk
Oh,
around and
nice.
look at some animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All
That'll be
right. Thank you. Sorry, I interrupted you there, Kurt.
no. So
Bye.
take care. So, and good morning indeed, Jeff. So have a good Friday.
Exactly. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.